What's up, guys? I know it's been a while since I've done this, but I'm going to try to start doing it more regularly. So let's just get into it. It's kind of what I've been working on the past couple weeks, and just a topic that I think is really important when it comes to your training. And it actually works for anything you do, trying to improve your body, even mentally, anything you're trying to do. But physically, it's a really good tactic that I use that I kind of figured out from trial and error. And I'm really liking, so I wanted to share it with you guys. And it's basically being really consistent, but stimulating your body for how you want it to adapt. So to get into detail of what I mean by that is that just to keep it simple, if you want to jump higher, I know a lot of us just say jump a lot, and it might be hard to jump higher by just jumping a lot, so you need to incorporate other exercises. But another reason you need to consistently keep jumping is because you need to keep your body reacting to that stimulus of exploding, so that way it adapts and it starts exploding better and jumping more efficient. And the way I like to think about it is to try to think about if you didn't jump enough. So if you jumped once a week and you jumped okay, try to think of your body thinking like, oh, I just jumped today and I should react to that. Just like lifting weights, right? If you lifted a certain amount of weight, tried to lift heavy, say lift 50 pounds, it doesn't really matter. If you lift 50 pounds once a week and you started the week, lifted 50 pounds, and you're waiting for your body to react to that stimulus, if you wait too long, that stimulus of your body reacting to grow and get stronger is going to not go away, because your body is constantly adapting to what you give it, if that makes sense. I know this is kind of getting confusing, but I think if I come full circle, it'll make sense. So back to the weightlifting example. If you lift 50 pounds, your body feels that and it's trying to grow and get stronger, and then you have to try to lift 50 pounds again in a couple of days, or at least, it depends. That's where the trial and error comes in. You don't want to wait too long and you don't want to go too soon, and that's where a lot of the struggle comes from jump training for me, is that the overtraining is very easy to come by if I go too hard, and I don't want to rest too long and I get rusty. So you have to find that happy medium, and that's where the training and taking notes and being consistent with your training and trying to document exactly what you do and trying different things really comes into play, and why it's really important to not to stick to a structure, but take note of what you're doing and constantly be listening to your body to see what workouts you did and how you reacted to them. And that's why I feel like most of us that are having success, even though it takes a long time, if you're eventually having success, it's just a learning process, and we all can't help each other. And that leads me to my other point, which was to stop asking so many questions and start researching, because none of us really have the answers for every individual. It's really hard for us to come up with a program that'll work for you, because most of us know what works for us. And it's not that saying that a workout is going to affect you differently, but there's a lot of factors that come into play in your stage of your dunk training or jump training. Same thing. Like if I'm in a strength phase and you're very strong, we're going to have very different regimens, and vice versa, and things like that. And even if we're like somewhat similar, like for example, say me and my friend just both finished a strength phase and now we're about to do the same thing. We're on the same schedule. Different workouts may help us better transition to a speed phase. So for example, he might have super loose hamstrings and I might have super tight. So I need to work on maybe some explosive things for my hamstrings to get those firing and in different ways, and just things like that. Or my core might be super strong and his core might be super weak, so we need to focus on the other intermediate exercises, things like that. So there's just so many factors. And also, if we just finish strength phase, maybe he's heavier and he needs to just do more plyometrics and doesn't need to do lightweight. Or me, I'm lean and I need to just do some lightweight exercises to get myself going. But the point is, you need to start researching go from the ground up, start figuring out exactly what jumping is, and you could learn that from all of us, anybody online, things like that. That's what all I do, is constantly look it up. You want to get stronger, you want to get faster, you want to get quicker, you want to get leaner and stay flexible just to stay healthy, and then you want to break down all those different aspects and figure out what you need. So go to the gym, and I've said this a million times if you go back and listen to my things, but try to diagnose yourself, see if you can jump high, but you can't run fast, or you can't do quick activities like change direction quick. Then you might need to do quickness exercises, and then this plyometrics. Or if you're quick and agile, but you just don't have the height of your jumps, or your standing vert's not good, that'll probably mean you need to gain some strength. Things like that. But you just need to keep learning and try to research exactly the part that you need. Diagnose yourself and research that specific aspect that you need to work on, and then figure out exactly how to work on that aspect, because that's all we're doing. We don't have any secret knowledge or secret workouts. We're all constantly adapting to what we need, and I guarantee you everyone is different and no one has the same routine. And I'm sure some, especially in the beginning, there's a lot of similarities between things, but as we all improve and get to different parts, the paths are going to be so different. They're going to be very similar in that they got stronger and faster and more explosive, but the ways they got there are going to be vastly different. And I want to get back to the stimulus part, which is the more new concept that I was thinking of. So for me, what I've been doing recently, and also the thing is, you can't get down on yourself and always know that there's going to be hard times. Like even me, I posted that video of me doing 3 years of East Bay attempts with like no progress. It's pretty ridiculous. But looking back, I should have done a lot more technique work on low rims. But my problem was I felt high enough to get it on like a 9.9 rim, which I probably was, but I wasn't my technique was not improving at all. And then as soon as it did, I got really close at one part of the video, and then I fell off again because my technique got worse again. Anyway, what happened to me recently is like a really, really depressing time, but I was able to learn from it, and now I'm even better than I was before it happened. And that was when I finished my strength phase. So I got super strong. I hit PRs in squats. I lifted like 315 twice, I think it is, maybe 3 times in one set. And that was like really strong. That was the strongest I've ever been. And I went pretty low, at least to parallel, maybe a little lower. And then my hip thrusts were just constantly going up because I never really did those in my life, but I did them for like 2 months straight. So those really got stronger. So I know that I got stronger. I know that I was like a certain weight, so I was a certain body fat percentage. I was measuring that too. I was pretty lean, around 170, and getting stronger. So I knew it was time to try to translate that strength into jumping. And when I was strong, I was jumping, but I felt like very heavy in the fact that I was not agile. Like I felt like if I was running and like trying to play basketball, I felt very not light on my toes. I don't know what the word is. I didn't feel heavy because I felt explosive. Like my standing vert felt strong and powerful, and my like slow approach warm-up jumps felt very high, meaning like I was able to jump and grab rim off a very slow approach, and it felt very powerful. I've never felt that before. But when I tried to run my full approach if some of you know, a lot of times I run really fast. And when I tried to do that, my form broke down super quick. And I was just trying to jump because I knew I would gain strength. But I went through like a 2 to 3 week down period where I was jumping lower than I did when I first came out of the strength phase. I just went worse and worse and worse. And I was trying to jump, because in the past, jumping till exhaustion was part of my routine. And I think that's what hurt me in this phase, because I kept overtraining. And the reason for that was because I knew I needed to start translating that strength into speed. And the way I did that before was by jumping a lot. But I've never gotten so strong to have to change up the way I translate that into speed. So I went backwards for a little bit, and I was like, what is going on? I can't use this strength, and I feel like I'm overtraining. And another thing about the overtraining was that part of my jumping routine was jumping past exhaustion, meaning like as soon as I started to decline, that was kind of when my full jump day was like the second half started. So I would jump, have a lot of max jumps. As soon as I started to decline, I would kind of push myself to jump as much and as high as I can, as many times as I can, to get myself building my jump endurance. So that way in other sessions I had more max peak jumps. And that was good, and I feel like that's helpful, but I think I overdid it. So you want to do that when you're declining, just push yourself a few times. But I think what I was doing was jumping too much in that area, because it's really easy for myself to push myself really hard, but I think I overdid it. And when I was exhausted, I would jump so much, I was actually like deteriorating some muscle and just like breaking it down where it wasn't usable for a few days, and then I would try to train in a few days, and then it was just a cycle of just bad jumping techniques. So the conclusion that I tried that worked was started to lift some light weights, some box squats. I didn't really go up to my PR. My PR was like 385 on a box squat, but I went up to like 350, I think it was, maybe even 365. And I would just do a few sets, then go up to the heavy set, which was like 350 at the most, whatever it was, and just do 1 rep. And it felt heavy, felt like I was pushing. And then I would do some like Romanian deadlifts where you do a deadlift, but you don't touch the ground. You kind of go halfway down the shins. And I'm mainly focusing on my hamstring because they're super tight. And it was kind of like a stretch more than a workout. Just kind of like reach them down, keep my back really straight, and kind of stretch out my hamstrings, and then explode up and stand. I would do that, and I did some pistols with some weights that were really good single leg to help my knee. It felt really good on my knee, and it felt really good for my one foot. And I just did some I wouldn't say heavy, but it was like almost like a 70% workout where I didn't go till exhaustion. And most of those days too is that I warmed up with dunking. So I would dunk, and once I hit my peak of like my normal dynamic warm up, normal light jumps, few max jumps where I threw it off the backboard, threw a couple lobs, tried a few tricks, and that was it. Kept it really in my prime, made sure I cut it in my prime, and then lifted. So I was fully warm, got a really good lift where I felt strong and explosive, but then cut the lift short as well. And I feel like that was the perfect stimulus to tell my body to use my muscles explosively. And then that way, next time I wouldn't really overdo it where my body was tired and fatigued. But I did go hard. Like it's a very, very hard to balance right in the middle of that, but that's where the trial and error comes from. And I've been doing this for almost 7 years now. So I'm starting to really learn how my body feels, and that takes a lot of time. But I think that's really the most important thing, because it's really hard to tell somebody to cut it short, but also go hard. So you kind of have to just try things and see how you feel. But right now, I've been doing those like half workouts twice a week, and then a dunk session like once a week pretty much. So I do like a really light dunk session, and then a little workout where I go a little heavier and heavier, and I go a little heavier each week. So I'm kind of building that strength up, but I'm not really going past my PR when it was just a straight strength phase. So I'm kind of staying explosive and light, and after these workouts, I feel really good. Like I feel really loose, like my body is ready for more, but it's like primed, but it's not worked. Like it's not really fatigued. Like it definitely feels like I put weight on and I'm ready to it's knows to get stronger. Like I pushed myself, but I didn't push past the point of feeling like I fatigued the muscles and they're like broken, if that makes sense. I really hope that makes sense. So I think that's pretty much it. But the point I'm trying to harp on is the stimulus part of stimulating your body for what you want it to do. So the reason why I kicked up to 2 times of lifting of like a week pretty much, it's not really weekly, it's just kind of like every couple days. And I say weekly because it kind of turns out to be a week. But so just to go over the past week to kind of give an example was I did the light dunk and then I lifted, and I felt really good, but because I didn't really kill my CNS, which keeps my energy high, and I really got a good stretch after the lift because my muscles were loose and they were primed to go like really heavy and start to grow, but I stopped it there. And then I stretched really well, and stretching's been another big key that I've been doing. I've really been pushing into stretching every single day, and I don't really hold the stretches, more I kind of push deeper every set kind of. So I'll do like hips and I'll push and switch legs, and meaning get into the position and try to push a little deeper to try to push my flexibility to improve. That's another part of the stimulus thing, is that I'm doing that consistently and always trying to push it further, so that way my body's kind of getting the message to react to that. And then so I lifted, dunked, took a day off where I just stretched, and then the next day did a light dunk session. And I just did a light dunk session and stretched and kept that super short. And then I was really ready for the next day. After I rested one more day and stretched, I was really ready. And then I had a full dunk day. How long was it? I'm trying to think. Yeah, and I went pretty hard. I actually did some 1 foot, and I just did a lot of jumping. I jumped pretty good amount where I was pretty tired and I could feel some soreness in my legs, and that's like past the decline. So I started to decline invert, and I started to do some 1 foot even, so that was even more tiring for my legs because those muscles don't really get used. And then the next day I actually had at a work event where we played sports, so I ran around some more, so that was a little bit too much. And that was 2 days ago, and yesterday I stretched a little bit, felt really good stretching, and today I just did some light dunks and no lifts because I'm a little worked from Thursday and Friday's workouts. So again, I'm just adapting to what I need, but what I did was I did some really light dunking to work on some technique, get my body knowing I'm explosive, but I didn't really even go 100% like crazy hard, maybe like 2 or 3 dunks that were 100%. But just focus on some technique. And then I did some core because my core is not really worked, but I can feel my legs are really sore still. So I did some core, and then I'm going to rest up so I can have a full fresh body. And then in 2 days, I'm going to do the light dunks and light lifts again. And then I'll be primed for a dunk session, and I'll probably be pretty good by then because today I kind of took it easy. So I took it easy. I'm going to stimulate with the light lifts and light dunks on Tuesday, and my energy will be up, and I feel like the stimulus will be there for me to explode. So by 4 days from now, after 2 days after the workout, I think I'll be primed and ready to go. But I feel like I still didn't get to the part of the point that I want to. I mean, I hope I got it clear is what I'm trying to say. Hold on, this train's coming. Let me pause this. So I guess the point is you want to stimulate your body for what you want it to adapt to, and you need to do that with the proper timing. I think the timing is the consistency portion. That's what consistency means. We don't mean consistently kill yourself, like go hard consistently. I think more consistency is more to get your body to react properly. And I think right now I'm in a perfect rhythm for what my body needs. And after I jump for a while and I kind of hit the top of my window, because I think that's what I'm doing, and I'm there for a few weeks, I think then I'll go back to the strength phase because I'll need some strength to get even higher. But right now I'm just kind of working on my technique and things like that. But just try to think of it as just the basic. Like if you're trying to get strong and you want to lift 75 pounds, right? Or say you want to lift 100 pounds, just keep it easy. And you lift 50 pounds today, that's the most you can do, right? If you wait 2-3 weeks and you try to lift 60 pounds, there's going to be no growth. You're not going to be able to lift any more than you did today if you waited 3 to 4 weeks to try to lift more. Your body has no knowledge that it's trying to grow or get stronger because you just hit it with one stimulus once, and it's not going to react to that because it's going to forget about that stimulus is kind of what I'm trying to say. I hope that makes sense. Gosh, I don't know if this is making sense. But just think about it. You hit that 50 pounds, and then in a few days or later that week, if you try to hit the 50 pounds again, you might not be able to get 55 pounds. But if you try, your body might try the 50 pounds again. If you try the 50 pounds again, your body will be like, oh, okay, we're doing this again. So then the third time, maybe then you can lift the 55 because it grew. It's like, okay, we're going to be lifting 50 pounds now. So I'm going to get used to that. So now I can lift a little bit more. And I hope that makes sense. God, this is so ridiculous. But just stimulate it for what you want. And for me right now is the light lifts and the light dunks. And the reason why I say you got to research on your own is because I don't want you coming away from this thinking, okay, I need to stimulate it with what I'm doing. So you need to do what you need to do. But the point is, if you're not strong, stimulate it with strength properly. Maybe go heavy once a week at least, and then always keep jumping though, so that way your body stays in tune with the jumping and explosiveness, but maybe add more strength exercises more frequently. If you're too strong and you have very little quickness, like you're very heavy on your feet, then you need to be doing plyometrics a couple times a week. But I think less is more when it comes to training, in the fact that don't go light on everything. That doesn't mean go light on lifts. It doesn't mean go easy on the sprints, like half butt. You know what I mean? I think it means do it till where you feel like you made the stimulus evident, and then do it more frequent. I think that's what I mean by less is more. So you can't build strength in one workout. You have to do a bunch of workouts, and you can't build quickness and flexibility in one workout, but the consistency and the frequency of the workouts is more important than that. And I don't like saying less is more because it sounds like I'm saying do less, because you're not actually doing less. You're just doing less maybe in one workout. Because for me, the overtraining was a big part of it, and I think it's good sometimes to just go to exhaustion, but I feel like that might be counterintuitive if you're for certain things you're trying to do. Like for me right now, I don't need that. I need my full explosion to be able to jump my highest. But for strength, if you're trying to get stronger, you may need to push yourself to 100% to get to the strength. But just different things. Just try to figure out what you need. I don't know if this made sense, but I think that's pretty much it. Thinking if I could say it in any other way that's a little bit better with the less is more. Let's see. I just think if you're in a workout and if you made some growth, for example, like if you did a little bit more, you jumped a little bit higher, you're not going to jump higher if you kept jumping more past exhaustion. So if I jump my highest ever and then that session is like starting to decline, like I'm starting to jump lower, I can do a few more jumps just to push myself a little bit. But like no matter how, even if I feel good, like if I'm starting to decline and I'm like starting to feel fatigued, even if I have like energy and I have time to jump more, like I have nothing going on that day, the more I jump, the higher I'm not going to jump any higher next time. That's not going to build anything. You have to build it slowly, but you have to know when to stop. You can't go overboard. I hope that makes sense. It makes it seem like you don't want to do too much and you're going to cut early. So don't give up early. Make sure you hit that stimulus, but stimulate often. I guess that's the point right there. Once you hit the stimulus, make sure your body's stimulated for what you want. Like hit that strength number, hit that height number that you want to jump to. Hit the amount of jumps you want to jump to, but don't overdo it. So if you're trying to build your jump endurance one day, don't go from like 50 jumps to 200 jumps. Do like 50 jumps to 60 jumps. I think I finally came to the conclusion of what I'm trying to say, and that is less is more in the fact that you don't need to you don't want to jump your improvements in one day. So less each session, but gradually improve, increase, and keep going. Dunk life, never give up. Consistency is key, and you have to just know your body, know your limits, and always push those limits, but don't overdo it because there's a point of diminishing returns where it's going to backfire and your body's going to die and you break down and you're not going to be able to handle that. So you have to know when to stop, but you have to know when to stop again, meaning you can't stop early. So got to find that spot. Make sure you're pushing yourself, but try to find that sweet spot and take care of your body most importantly, so that way every workout you have 100% to give. And if you don't, then just rest, but go after it soon because that stimulus is going to go away. All right, long-winded explanation, but I hope it makes sense. I think I finally came to a solid thought and idea. Hope this helps. I'm going to try to do this a lot more often. I've been slacking a little bit on the podcast, but I definitely have a lot more thoughts like this, and I'm constantly learning, so I want to share with you guys. Me and Isaiah are always talking, and we said we want to do this. We were actually supposed to do one today. Kind of forgot to hit him up, but I just had this thought on my mind, so I wanted to get it out clearly. But expect a lot more of these. Let me know what you think. I hope this really helped, and let's get it. Stimulus.